37 degrees. Take advantage of this little bit of sunshine. Scrape away that ice because it's getting colder by the second, especially in northern New England. Are we ready to start the day? It's not that cold. 37 is pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Take advantage of it because last night, after the snow stopped, we had a temperature drop down to about 30 for a short time, so everything's iced up, especially where you don't really get the sunshine. This was occluded air. The warm wrapped all the way around the top of the cold and came in from the west. I don't think Steve wants to come out. Is it because of the heavy equipment, Steve? Come on, let's just go out for a short time. Thanks. And Martin, you asked about the barometer and thermometer. It's in disrepair. The Accurate is it's junk now, so I need a new one of those. My Tempest on the roof, that's also junk, so I have to rely on those old-fashioned alcohol thermometers. It used to be mercury, now it's alcohol in the thermometer. And let's undo Rex. You can kind of hear or see the crunchiness. We only picked up about a half inch of, I wouldn't call it snow, but we picked up about a third of an inch of snow, and then it sleeted for several hours yesterday. Can't get this thing to focus. So that's what we're left with. Thank goodness that did not happen in far northern New England. What's the status here? Well, when the tide's that high, you got to work higher up the hill. They're building that new. That's probably going to be the top of the boardwalk right there, and then the wall is right there. So it's coming together. It's all coming together, except for the weather. The weather's going to pieces. This morning, been watching all the snow squall warnings in northern New England, and there's wonderful new snow, but you can't get to the top of the mountain unless you hike. This is out the door at Sean's house there at Jay Peak this morning. Thanks, Sean, Katie, the before and the after shot after plowing another half a foot that fell last night. So I think Jay picked up about 15 inches of snow. It's really hard to measure. The camera this morning was about as white out as I've ever seen on this camera. So blizzarding day 37 in a row with snow somewhere in New England. And a lot of people in southern New England, well, a lot of people are saying, good, keep it in northern New England. Other people are saying, bring it to southern New England. And, well, we're going to bring it to southern New England. So why so windy this morning? Mount Washington gusted to 104 miles per hour just a short time ago at 8:30. Incidentally, it's about 9 o'clock. And wind is air moving from high to low pressure. And the low pressure system, well, there's not one. There are a bunch of them. Let's look at this Ocean Prediction Center analysis from this morning. And our old cold high is way out there on the right, still in the 1030s. And then we are surrounded by low pressure in the northeast. You got 5 of them, it looks like. And 997 to the east of New England. You see that word, those words, rapidly intensifying. So we've got a rapidly intensifying low departing to the east, and the new cold high incoming from the west. And the pressure gradient, the isobars have really tightened up, and that's why we had a wind gust at 8:30. Here are the temperature maps. Wind gust at 8:30 to 48 miles per hour in Barrie, Vermont, where there are snow squall warnings in effect to start the day, and those will diminish as they press off to the southeast. But we may end up with a few snowflakes here in the sky over Boston, opposite of high barometer cold, which is stable. Low barometer cold causes these snow showers and snow squalls, but they usually diminish when they head for the coast. But the warmest weather for the day is right now in southeastern New England with the temperature in the 30s. An extreme day yesterday, we talked about it. There were blizzard warnings and tornado warnings simultaneously. It's the battle between cold and warm. And look at the high temperature records set yesterday. I can't show all the numbers, but I can tell you that it was 90 degrees in Alice, Texas yesterday. At the same time, it was 10 degrees below zero in Montana. So we had that 100-degree temperature gradient in the lower 48. And whenever you see that, you're going to have a lot of wind. And we're not going to change the pattern too much. We're just going to shift the storm track a little further south. So that means the rain snow line is going to shift south. And now it's going to be southern New England's turn for the deeper snows, while northern New England still gets snow. We're going into the snowiest period, snowiest February period probably in 10 years since way back in 15. So we'll see how it all plays out. Why don't we go to the NAM high resolution from the overnight run. And there are those snow squalls early in the day, those dark blue batches diminishing to snow flurries, and then pretty much ending in southern New England this afternoon. And you see the blue lines, that 540 lines pressing south all the way off the bottom of the map. That's that rain-snow line. And then high pressure is going to come in tonight. The wind will diminish, and that high looks like it kind of wants to go a little bit south of us, and it's going to be racing away tomorrow. And again, it's the backside of a high with a warm wave coming at us. But this time, the low pressure center is going to stay to our south. So the wind is going to stay from the east and northeast, so it's going to stay cold. And there's the snow arriving tomorrow in Connecticut. It looks like two waves, one across northern New England, sort of with the Arctic boundary, and another across southern New England with the polar boundary. So you're in Boston, and it's snowing to your north and your south, not snowing until there about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And then I'm going to stop it at 1 a.m. because there's a lot on this map tomorrow. This is going to be the worst of the weather this weekend. It's going to be in the middle of the night tomorrow night, 1 a.m. What is it, about 1,000 millibar low just south of Long Island. And you see the 546 line, warm enough for rain over Long Island. And then the 540 line coming right up into southern New England, cold enough for snow. And the blue is snow and the purple is sleet. So there's going to be some sleet in the middle. Oh, wait, Steve's taking off. Where are you going, Steve? Oh, he's just chasing a leaf. All right, Steve, you want to chase leaves? I guess that's all right, but come back this way. Steve, come on, this way. Good cat. Walking the cat, doing the forecast, excavator working down the hill, T-Rex just chilling, and we were on the largest potential snowfall that we've had from Connecticut to Cape Cod in 2 or 3 years. It doesn't say much. All it'll take is about a half a foot, and that's about what we're going to get. Put that back into motion. There's the sleet snow line very close to Nantucket, Martin. I think you're going to actually have to plow snow on Nantucket tomorrow night. And Sunday morning, it's taken off, and about 9, 10 o'clock, there's the back edge. Still some lingering snowflakes on Cape Cod and the islands. And then down comes the 510 line into northern New England. That's the Arctic air, but it's not going to be as windy on the backside of this one. That low is taken off so fast, and the high is not exactly racing in. So Sunday afternoon, Super Bowl time. It is going to be windy and cold, but not as bad or windy as this morning. It's going to be colder than this morning. Very cold Sunday. The animals totally want to go in. Oh, Rex is going on walkabout. Let's go check Rex out on the ice bucket. So it is a little glacier right here. Oh, wow. I get a grip. That's cool. And so the ice bucket really loosened up a little bit, but there's about 4 or 5 inches in there. And as far as precipitation goes in yesterday's event, I think Boston came in with a 0.25, so it was not a real heavy-duty system. And there's the water in there. Yeah, it looks like about a 1/4 inch for me, too. All right, so what's going to happen after that? Well, we're going to have the snowstorms and rainstorms or whatever coming at us so frequently. Let's go to the Euro now. And this is pivotal weather. There goes our squalls out to sea tonight. Tomorrow, there's high pressure right over us briefly. And then here comes a wave, and it's going to be strengthening. And it's another wave on a warm front, but this time the whole low pressure center stays south of us, so that's why southern New England getting most of the snow, but it does reach up into far northern New England Sunday morning. Another, looks like a good ski day on Sunday before the wind picks up again Sunday night. And Monday, now, days in a row with snow, that'll get us to 39, 40. But it might not snow on Monday. I think somehow it'll find a way, though, with that 504 thickness in northern New England. We'll at least have diamond dust snow in the mountains north. And then here comes the next one. Looks like Tuesday night. And this one also looks like it wants to run south of New England. So that would be snow most exclusively for southern New England. And it looks like it's all snow on Tuesday night. That's a fast mover. That one looks like about maybe 3 or 4 inches. And then Wednesday, maybe a break. High pressure is building to our north on Wednesday. Maybe a break in the action. And another system coming at us Wednesday night into Thursday. And this one wants to be a stronger low, and it wants to drive a little farther north. So the rain snow line may come up into central New England. Net gain of snow for most of us, but there could be some melting and some refreezing. So a real mess around here on Thursday. And then that pulls out briefly. Cold air comes rushing right back in next Friday. It looks like it's going to be more windy and colder than today. A lot like today, but much colder and windier for Valentine's Day before. Now Saturday, here comes another system coming at us from the southwest. And oh boy, this one's really ramping up with a wall of snow to sleet to freezing rain. All that red freezing rain potential. We've been talking about that for some time. And we'll freeze it right there at 240 hours. That's day 10. That's Sunday the 16th. And wow, that is a 972 low. That is a real powerful storm center near Montreal, with another one on the coast of Maine. So this is going to be a moving target, but that has the potential to be something like we have not seen in years, a potential nor'easter, even if it's an inside runner, but that would be powerful winds and kind of power outage type snowstorm with a wintry mix also. But most of us would start as snow and end as snow, even with rain in the middle, as cold air is going to rush right back in here on after that storm a week from Monday. And there's more cold behind that. So serious winter, relentless winter. So talking about freezing rain, yesterday Peter Forrester in the Shenandoah National Park, he was driving around and there was a major ice storm there with more than a ½ inch of ice. That's what happens when you have that record warm running into and over the top of the cold that was in place. And this coast-to-coast thermal battle is not going to end soon. Note some of those images. You see it's less icy at the top of the mountain. Yeah, that's how it works. You go up in the sky and it gets warmer when you have a freezing rainstorm. That's how that happens. It's warm enough for rain, but then that rain falls into the heavy cold layer stuck down near the ground, and you get a freezing rain situation. So we'll have to talk more about that. And what else? Yesterday, I guess that's it for the weather. The Enmore yesterday, some of the guys from the crew actually came up and looked through the backyard here, checking out what they have to do as they come up toward our house over the next couple of years. We're not going to be done with this for a couple of years, and there's so much work, but essentially the new revetment's going in, and they're above that because of the high tide right now, and they're just kind of clearing this road and grading it out because that's where the new boardwalk's going to be. But they're going to take care of the hills. And everyone's saying, well, what about the erosion? Well, they did not pull out any of the roots. You can see the rocks and the roots are still all in place there. And so hopefully if we don't get a disastrous meltdown, there's already drainage in place to protect us. So far so good with all of this. So I think it's a net gain for the town of Weymouth, even though we do lose some of our privacy a bit. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. We'll talk all about it. The Enmore from yesterday, the crew coming up here. I didn't interview them yet, but hopefully we will one time. A bunch of observations from the snowstorm yesterday turning into sleet and rain. And here you go from yesterday. Thanks for watching. 10:45 a.m. The snowflakes are getting bigger, and I can kind of hear the precipitation landing now. So that means it's getting icy. The warm layer is getting lower. So this is going to underachieve here, I believe, with less than an inch, unless something changes. Just past 11. Looks like the snow is done. You can see little pock marks, a little sleet there. You can hear a little bit of sleet. So the snow is pretty much done. It's sleeting, about 32 degrees. So we're probably not going to see any more accumulation. So let's tally it up. Looks like almost 1 centimeter. Otherwise known as about 1/4 of an inch. Whoops. There's one way to get a system to underachieve. That's talk about it for several days and then cancel school the day before. But this is right next to the ocean, so inland maybe it's still going. And fun watching these guys pick special rocks and dumping the aggregate in there. Look at the nook. Yeah, it's a 2, 4, 6-wheel drive. All right, so it's not done precipitating. Still some more time on that. The birds, the pussy willows. Noontime, moderate sleet. Guidance did a pretty good job, even though we only picked up less than a ½ inch. It is accumulating on the roads, and there's word of a lot of accidents out there. And we are getting snowplows come through. Timing. Hey, there's Fred. Hey, Fred. Not quite over, and there's no dripping yet, so it's still below freezing. Oh, wow. Janet's out there getting a scoop. TK's in here just watching from a distance. And there goes the ferry, and it's just straight down air with some light sleet changing to drizzle. We've just gone above freezing. All right, 1 o'clock. It's now mostly liquid rain. We're starting to drip. And sleet still, well, actually, by the sound of it, it's more sleet than rain, but it is starting to drip. And I just met a bunch of the crew from Luciano Excavating doing this work. I told him I'm impressed with it. So he's just getting that right into place to make it fit. With yesterday's work, today's work, so on and so on and so on. And so there are some of the liners. Again, so they dig the hole, I don't know, looks like it's 12 feet deep anyway. Then they put some liner down on the uphill side, then they put some aggregate down, then they put smaller boulders down, and then they put the bigger boulders in place. And he's been going up and down the beach cherry picking which boulders, and he's made a stash of them right there. Flag still. Cold air damming in place. And there are the birds up there keeping an eye on us all. Got a question in the comments this morning. Why did they pick the wintertime, nor'easter season to do this? Well, this is a pretty popular beach, especially in the summertime, so they chose to do the work in the off season. And it's not like that's the ocean. It's really a southern extension of Boston Harbor here, the Fore River, and somewhat protected from big waves. But we can get big waves, and I do anticipate some pretty rough weather coming in the beginning of next week, so it should be interesting, as they always say. Should be interesting. These medium-sized rocks right there. Put them a little bit lower, is my guess. Very interesting. And we've got a mitt sighting. He's indifferent. The pets do seem a little bit rattled though. The house is shaking. Birds. Just being birds. Days like today, you're not sure when to shovel or not. Sometimes if there's going to be freezing rain, you leave the snow on there so you don't get ice, but I think we're going above freezing right now. And let's see what this thermometer says. Oh yeah, +3 Celsius. It's about 35 degrees. 1 o'clock. Doing a little winter gardening. Just had a cardinal sighting. There he goes. Or she. If we can't do a little time lapse, both of the work and the birds and the bird feeder. birds. Din din. Up my back. Oh yeah. How we doing? It's 2:30. That was a 1 hour video. Did you hear Rex just come out? There's Rex. It's drizzling now, but the wind is from the east-northeast. And cold air damming is very challenging to forecast. And there goes the excavator on the corner. So my camera is just wet. All right, look at that. Good job. So that's the status of the new revetment right there. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. Not T-Rex. And we're still pretty iced in, but it's pretty interesting, the temperature forecast for the next few hours. Most of the guidance has Boston going up to about 35, 36. Probably a little warmer here. But the HRRR says we're going down to 27 this evening, and that makes a big difference. A little slush in the water down there. What do you think, T-Rex? Recognize the place? Everyone's always like, you afraid the dog's gonna fall? Well, he's only gone over once. Cat's gone over once. You do something once, tend not to do it again, right? I shoveled this just in case earlier, so let's take a little walk down these steps. Okay, they're just wet, not icy. But again, I live right next to the ocean, so just inland, I'm sure it's a different story. What was it before? About 36. Now it's down back to about 33, 34. And about this much precipitation. Logan Airport's reporting about 0.2. So kind of an underachiever in some spots, overachiever in others. I couldn't resist. 5 p.m. update. Is there a blanket down there, or a cat, or both? How about down here? Is that the head, or the tail, or the both? Steve and Mitt having the right idea here on this afternoon, where the work is completed. There's the high tide, there's the muck, and then there's some slushy ice and snow that's accumulated there on the east side of the groin with the incoming tide and the wind from the east. And we're 36 degrees, and it's still very light precipitation. Obviously the temperature and the dew point are together. Saturation situation. Okay, the question is, how much colder does it get tonight? Find out in more tomorrow. It was a foggy night in the sovereign nation of North Weymouth. And it was only about a ½ inch of snow, but it changed to sleet and freezing rain. It's treacherous out there, kids. I think we should cancel school tomorrow, too. Meanwhile, I've dug a little drainage ditch in slush and ice, and it appears to be working well. We are going to test our systems with the incoming weather the next 2 weeks. It is slickery. Get it while you can here. I do the sidewalks for all my neighbors too. Of course, the smoke followed me. I waited last night for the wind to die down, and it wouldn't die down. Tonight it died down, and then as soon as I lit the fire, it came back up from the west. Drought's over, right? The smoke follows me. The moon's out.